Destination, Machu Picchu. The cause, a life for Sanfilippo children. 14 brave souls signed up, each promising to raise a minimum of $4,000 for the cause, followed by months of preparation to complete the 45-kilometer trek through the Andes to reach this UNESCO World Heritage Site. In August 2014, we lifted off from Pearson, landing in Lima, Peru, soon to be followed by a short flight to the mountain city of Cusco. The bustle of Lima dissolved into charming artisan markets, cobblestone streets, and panoramic views of the Andes. At 3,400 meters above sea level, Cusco acclimatized us to the elevated altitude necessary for our climb. We visited fascinating stores and markets and negotiated with shopkeepers in broken Spanish, many of us walking away with an alpaca sweater or two that would keep us warm on our trek through the mountains. On Friday morning, we said goodbye to civilization, transported by bus to kilometer 82, the starting point of the Inca Trail. With nervous anticipation, we began our 4-day journey to Machu Picchu, highlighted by the brutal second-day adventure of scaling Dead Woman's Pass. In 4 hours, we climbed 1,200 meters. It challenged each of us physically and mentally, but reaching the pinnacle was truly rewarding. Surrounded by snow-capped mountains, we were welcomed by cheers from friends and strangers as we reached the top. We still had 2.5 days of trekking ahead, but nothing could stop us from reaching our final destination. Our trek through the Andes meandered along ancient paths, through small caves, stones, wooden bridges, and narrow walkways, perched precariously atop valleys that seemed to drop away beneath our feet to rushing rivers thousands of feet below. We gained and lost 1,000 meters of elevation several times, revealing varied landscapes, some harsh and arid, others lush and tropical. We carried only a small day pack, while our porters did the heavy lifting. Passing us at the speed of light, a team of 17 porters carried our food, camping gear, and clothing, guiding us for the entire hike. They ran ahead and set up camp for the night and welcomed us with a cool beverage and basin of hot water after a hard day of hiking. Our meals were awesome. We were even presented with a freshly baked cake one evening in the middle of the Andes. This royal treatment, along with our passion for the cause, fueled our bodies, minds, and souls. On the eve of reaching Machu Picchu, we felt the earth shake as a 6.9 magnitude earthquake rattled through the Andes. Then at 3:30 a.m. the next morning, we awoke to begin our final day of climbing. With just the light of our flashlights, we hiked for 2 hours to the Sun Gate, 300 meters above Machu Picchu, where we first saw spectacular views of the ancient city. It was there that tears of joy streamed down our faces as we recalled the 4 days of trekking, countless hours of fundraising, and months of physical training. The quest to find a cure for Alyssa and all children afflicted with this tragic disease was another step closer. We posed for pictures with the incomparable Machu Picchu as our backdrop. As the light began to spill through the Sun Gate, Connor Linton cracked open a can of Molson Canadian, specially imported for this rare occasion. We toasted friends and family who generously donated to this special cause. After cherishing a few moments of quiet, we began our descent to the ancient town. Machu Picchu was everything we dreamed it would be, and more. Our passionate guide Fernando walked us through the lost city of the Incas, built around 1450, abandoned a century later at the time of the Spanish conquest, and lost to the outside world before being brought to international attention in 1911 by American historian Hiram Bingham. After a 3-hour tour, many of us decided it was time to return to civilization. A bus took us down to Aguas Calientes, a tourist village that answers the trekker's dream with cold beer and hot pizza. We continued our adventure with a brief 3-day introduction to the Amazon jungle, truly a tropical paradise. Back in Lima for our last night, we enjoyed a fabulous meal overlooking the 2,000-year-old Huaca Puchliana ruins, an exclamation mark on an extraordinary journey. Every step of the way we could feel God's good grace. we were inspired by wonderful donations from many amazing people, raising over $235,000 for the upcoming clinical trials. When the going got tough, we paused to remember the reason for our great climb, our dear friend Alyssa, and all the children around the world living with Sanfilippo. Although our trek is complete, our climb for a cure continues.